Before we begin, because we're going deeper and deeper into this Leela and don't want to lose our place and track of what's going on, I put together a little collage that will help us kind of see where we are. Give me a second to get my thing out of the way. Okay, so chapter 29 is where we began with the Rasa dance introduction. This is where Krishna, on the full moon night of the Sarat season, became inspired to enjoy with his most intimate associates, the gopis, blew his flute. They came running from their homes. You may remember we read that there were different groups that came. Some were allowed to immediately come there, and some were restricted, and some had to be replicated by Yogamaya. Then Krishna exchanged a little bit with them in a detached mood, telling them to go back home. But finally they convinced him that they were there to enjoy with him, and the mood became very congenial, and they actually began the Rasa dance at the end of chapter 29. But because they had become proud, Krishna disappeared, and because Srimati Radharani wasn't feeling satisfied, as we're reading now in our more recent texts, which leads to chapter 30. The gopis running through the forest, searching for Krishna. As they were searching for him, they found his footprints in the dust of Vrindavan. And as they continued further, they saw a second set of footprints. Then they knew and conjectured that Krishna was enjoying with one of them, apart from all the rest, feeling somewhat envious of her or not appreciating her divine position, as we'll learn. They finally found her, and we read that nice purport where Krishna was explaining why he did this, so that when they found him, when the other gopis found Srimati Radharani in madness of separation, they would appreciate two things. One, her position as the supreme of their party, and secondly, that they felt compassion for her because she was suffering so badly. At this point, the end of chapter 30, we branched off into discussion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai, and have been studying the glories of the reason Radharani left by herself, and therefore why Krishna left the Rasa dance. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to Ramananda to continue further. So I'll switch to that because I've got a little bit of a review of that also. Okay, when Radharani, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 8. When Radharani left the Rasa dance out of anger and resentment, Lord Sri Krishna became very anxious because he could not see her. Lord Krishna's desire in the Rasa Lila circle is perfectly complete, but Srimati Radharani is the binding link in that desire. The Rasa dance does not shine in the heart of Krishna without Srimati Radharani. Therefore, he also gave up the circle of the Rasa dance and went out to search for her. Hearing this description from Ramananda Roy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "That for which I have come to your residence has now become the object of truth in my knowledge. Now I have come to understand the sublime goal of life and the process of achieving it. Nonetheless, I think that there is something more ahead, and my mind is desiring to have it. Kindly explain the transcendental features of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. Also explain the truth of transcendental mellows and the transcendental form of love of Godhead. Kindly explain all these truths to me, but for yourself, no one can ascertain them. So this is what Ramananda Roy is discussing. As we read last week, he spoke about, or at the last meeting, he spoke about Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And now we'll read more about Srimati Radharani and her qualities. Ramananda Rai then began speaking on the position of Srimati Radharani. Krishna has unlimited potencies, which can be divided into three main parts. These are the spiritual potency, the material potency, and the marginal potency, which is known as the living entities. In other words, all these are potencies of God, internal, external, and marginal. But the internal potency is the Lord's personal energy and stands over the other two. Vishnu Shakti Para Prokta Kshatrajñakya Tata Para Avidya Karma Samnyagnya Tritiya Shakti Ishite. This is from the Vishnu Purana, which he uses as a reference to give evidence to this topic. The original potency of Lord Vishnu is superior or spiritual, and the living entity actually belongs to that superior energy. But there is another energy called the material energy, and this third energy is full of ignorance. Originally, Lord Sri Krishna is Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha, the transcendental form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. Therefore, his personal potency, the internal potency, has three forms. Hladini is his aspect of bliss. Sandini, of the eternal existence. And Samvit, of cognizance, which is also accepted as knowledge. Another quote from the Vishnu Purana. Hladini Sandini Samvit Tvai Eka Sarva Samshaye Hlada Tapa Kari Mishra Tvai No Gunavarjite. My dear Lord, you are the transcendental reservoir of all transcendental qualities. Your pleasure potency, existence potency, and knowledge potency are actually all one internal spiritual potency. The conditioned soul, although actually spiritual, sometimes experiences pleasure, sometimes pain, and sometimes a mixture of pain and pleasure. This is due to his being touched by matter. But because you are above these material qualities, they are not found in you. Your superior spiritual potency is completely transcendental. And for you, there is no such thing as relative pleasure, pleasure mixed with pain, or pain itself. So this is an introduction to the potencies of the Lord. And this is how Ramananda Roy is entering into a description of who Srimati Radharani really is. Very similar also to those who know from the Adi Lila chapter 4. And then we'll continue now. Samapriya, can you pick some more readers for us?
Is that do you want to discuss anything on that, Patsy?
No, I just explained it. It's fine.
Okay, that's thoroughly, okay. Jatari, would you like to read?
Yes.
There, good.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 157. The potency called Hladini gives Krishna transcendental pleasure. Through this pleasure potency, Krishna personally tastes all spiritual pleasure. Text 158. Lord Krishna tastes all kinds of transcendental happiness, although he himself is happiness personified. The pleasure relished by his pure devotees is also manifested by his pleasure potency. Text 159. The most essential part of this pleasure potency is love of Godhead, prema. Consequently, the explanation of love of Godhead, is also a transcendental mellow full of pleasure. Text 160. The essential part of love of Godhead is called Mahabhava, transcendental ecstasy. And that ecstasy is represented by Srimati Radharani. 161. Among the gopis of Vrindavan, Srimati Radharani and another gopi are considered chief. But when we compare the gopis, it appears that Srimati Radharani is most important because her real feature expresses the highest ecstasy of love. The
Okay.
ecstasy of love experienced by other gopis cannot be compared to that of Srimati Radharani. Ujjvala Nilamani.
Maybe another reader now, Sama?
Okay. Faye, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare Krishna.
text 162. The body of Srimati Radharani is a veritable transformation of love of Godhead. She is the dearmost friend of Krishna, and this is known throughout the world.
Oh, sure. You want to read this Sanskrit?
You have to unmute, Prabhu.
Sorry about that. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Dabirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabihi Kaloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuta Govindamari Purisham Dhamaham Bhajami.
Go on, Faye. Faye, you want to continue?
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who resides in his own realm who resides in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, who resembles his own spiritual figure, and who embodies the ecstatic potency, Ladini. Their companions are her confidants, who embody extensions of her bodily form and who are imbued and permeated with ever blissful spiritual rasa. Brahma Samhita 5:37.
Go on.
164. That supreme ecstasy of Srimati Radharani is the essence of spiritual life. Her only business is to fulfill all the desires of Krishna. 165. Srimati Radharani is the topmost spiritual gem, and the other gopis, Lalita, Vishaka, and so on, are expansions of her spiritual body.
Okay, thank you. So this is very profound. But do you want to have a discussion on this
Yeah.
now?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So would anyone like to say something about this? If you want to put it back to the text, this one line really, I keep reading it over and over
Which
again.
text?
The one that we just read, just now. The supreme ecstasy of Srimati Radharani is the essence of spiritual life. Her only business is to fulfill all the desires of Krishna. Can someone explain that? Anyone like to explain it?
The point being made thus far by Ramananda Roy in those particular verses, again, there's three different internal potencies: Sat, Chit, Ananda, Hladini, Sandini, and Samvit. And Hladini is a pleasure potency. So just as Krishna, the Vedic conception of God is Janmadya Asya Yataha, the origin of all energy. Isvaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Anadir Adir Govinda means there's no origin. He is the origin. Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of everything because he's the source. So in the same way, Srimati Radharani, as an expansion of Krishna's or a manifestation of Krishna's pleasure potency, is the origin, just as Krishna is the origin of all his expansions, Balaram, the Chaturavyuha, all the different incarnations, all the different presiding deities of Vaikuntha, Lord Ram, etc. Srimati Radharani is the source of all the gopis, all the goddesses of fortune, and all the wives of Krishna. That's the pleasure potency. So she actually is in a category by herself, just as Krishna is in a category by himself.
So also, so she's teaching us about bhakti. She is teaching us what pure love of God is. This is what we do. We follow Srimati Radharani. She is the guru. Actually, Prabhupada said that the guru is represented by Srimati Radharani and Lord Nityananda. So this is what Srimati Radharani is doing. Her only business is to fulfill the desires of Krishna. So that's our duty as souls, to fulfill the desire of Krishna. Chaitamayi.
Abel. Hello, dear devotees. I was thinking that this is describing the essence of what being is all about. And being produces pleasure, and being is a form of power. So there's all this power that is contained in Srimati Radharani as the topmost. And what is she doing with that power? What is her intention with that power? We may feel that we ourselves have certain abilities and powers as well, but what is our intention? What are we doing with those powers?
Mm-hmm.
Srimati Radharani is giving us the topmost intention, which is to please Krishna.
Good. That's the way, actually, that's the normal condition of a soul, is to use everything, all his power, to serve Krishna. Thank you. That's very, very good. Bahushra.
It's mentioned in Brahma Vaivarta Purana that Radharani manifested from the left side of Krishna. So whenever you have the marriage ceremony, you finally have the wife manifesting on the pleasure potency on the left-hand side of the husband. So it also mentions there that the Srimati Radharani being the topmost pleasure potency, but also all the other female expansions without the universe, spiritual worlds, the Lakshmis, the Mahalakshmis, all the different wives of the demigods, all the different elementals, all the way down the line. Anything that's female originally is expanded from Srimati Radharani's potency. So she is the source of all. She's more or less the personality of Godhead of the female energy, or the source of the pleasure potency.
I thought it's so far out how Prabhupada is saying that she is the essence, her ecstasy is the essence of spiritual life. And that ecstasy comes from serving Krishna. It's really very beautiful. Mukundaji, Hare Krishna.
Haribol, I want to make a comment on this, but before I get started, I just wanted devotees to please offer their prayers for the safe Shriman Vakeshwar Pandit Prabhu passed away this morning.
Who did?
Vakeshwar Pandit Prabhu.
Oh, really?
Okay,
Hare
sure.
Krishna.
Yeah,
Hear that.
New York.
Oh,
Offer our prayers. for
he
his-
was sick for a long time, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he was, yeah. Oh, Lord Chaitanya. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuye vicha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo.
Jai Vakeshwar Pandit Prabhu ki jai.
Jai, Hari Bol. Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, just a couple of things. One is that Srimati Radharani, she's the origin of all of the Shakti Tattva. But those who, for instance, obtain the body of gopis because of sadhana, they're still in the category of jivas, actually. They're just jivas who have become perfected by sadhana.
Nice. You brought that up nice last week. Thanks for reiterating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
At this point in the text, note how Krishnadas Kaviraj, as the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, kind of voicing Ramananda Roy's description, segues a little bit now into a book by Raghunath Das Goswami Sama. Somebody can read this purport, verse and purport.
Okay. Mukunda, you want to read that?
Text number 166.
Yes.
Srimati Radharani's transcendental body is brilliant in luster and full of transcendental fragrances. Lord Krishna's affection for her is like a perfume massage. Purport. Sugandhani Udvaratana refers to the paste made of several perfumes and fragrant oils. This paste is massaged all over the body, and in this way the body's dirt and perspiration are removed. Srimati Radharani's body is automatically perfumed, but when her body is massaged with the scented paste of Lord Krishna's affection, her entire body is doubly perfumed and made brilliant and lustrous. This is the beginning of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's description of Srimati Radharani's transcendental body. This description is based on the book known as Prem Bhoja Maradana, compiled by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. The descriptions in this verse are 165 to 181. It would have to raise up a little bit. Are based on this book.
Do you want to just finish it up there? Or
Yes, no,
did you want
title Prema Bhoja, the lotus of divine love. Mardana, the nectar, essential extract. Marjan also means to massage, actually, also. So this text is literally the nectar extracted from the lotus of Prem.
Here we have asked Bahushir to put together a little bit of information. As we'll note here, this description is based on a book known as Premamboja Maranda, compiled by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, who's one of the 6 Goswamis and a unique in his own right and position. So Bahushira, please tell us a little bit about Raghunath Das Goswami's Leela, who he is
So
and how he fits.
Raghunath, thank you, Prabhu. Raghunath, I'll try. Raghunath Das Goswami, he's actually the Prayojana Acharya, because Prayojana Acharya, of course, is one who teaches by example about the ultimate goal of life. And so the ultimate goal of life for him and teaching for all of us as Gaudiya Vaishnavas is that he is teaching that Srimati Radharani is the topmost to be worshipped. And it's also this book by him, Manashiksha, in there. That's one of the 3 major books. He wrote many, he did a commentary on, he wrote many prayers that have his name on it. But the 3 major books, this Manashiksha is one of them. And in there it's mentioned by Shivaram Swami. He was saying the 3 points that are characteristic of Raghunath Das Goswami. These are important. One is that he showed by his concrete example how to practice the teachings of Rupa Goswami to the highest limit. The second is that he showed us by his personal example how to experience the mood of separation from Radha Krishna. And the third point is exclusive dependence on Srimati Radharani. And so the thing is that there's also, it's mentioned in his mood, the Vilapa Kusha Manjali, the mood there that he had is so intense that he mentions, he says, my life is worthless. I will give it up without receiving your mercy. Living in Radhakund and Vrindavan is meaningless to me. To say nothing of Vrindavan, even Krishna himself is useless to me without you. O Srimati Radharani, you are the only object of my life. Please be merciful to me. Crying profusely in great lamentation, I hold your lotus feet to my heart and beg for your loving service. May this Vilapa Kusa Manjali bring even the slightest satisfaction to you. Raghunath Das Goswami serves Sri Radha as Rati Manjari, others are mentioned, in Sri Vrindavan Dham. His samadhi is at Radhakund and the 64th samadhi area. And just get an idea, because he's the Prayojanacharya, the austerities that he performed. He's like Haridas Thakur. Raghunath Das Goswami's daily bhajan includes chanting 64 rounds of japa, 100,000 holy names, doing Manasi Seva in his spiritual body, worshipping Govardhan Shila, bathing thrice in Radhakund, offering 1,000 obeisances to Krishna, offering 2,000 obeisances to Vaishnavas and embracing them, resting 90 minutes and some days not at all. Keep in mind, however, when an eternal associate of the Lord externally rests, internally he continues serving. He ate only one leaf cup, 100 grams of buttermilk daily. So, I mean, his austerities were extreme to the maximum. Also, is that I'll read about Radharani's beauty as well. But the thing is that he has two other prayers. I just want to mention them. And at verse 69 of Vilapa Kushamanjali, it says, I am yours. I cannot live without you. Oh, Queen, please understand this and bring me to your feet. Text 104. Oh, affectionate one, I pray that this Vilapa Kushamanjali handful of flowers in the form of lament, with much weeping to attain your loving service, and with a heart burning with pain, I take from my chest and I place at your lotus feet. May this give you a little pleasure. So you see the intensity that he had towards Srimati Radharani. And then also is that there's the qualities of Srimati Radharani.
Bahushra,
Yeah.
I don't really want to go into that because I'd rather focus on this particular book. And if you have something else, great. But rather than veering off into his other writings, we're going to go through a whole section now of like 20, 30 verses. And I just wanted to kind of keep that theme on him. Anything about him and Lord Chaitanya?
He actually lived in Puri for 16 years. And then afterwards, Lord Chaitanya had actually told him to go to Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya gave him his personal Govardhan Shila that has the thumbprint in it. And that's in the temple in Vrindavan. It's Radha, I'm not sure.
Gokulananda.
Gokulananda, yeah. And then, so in that way, he was receiving the ultimate mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was constantly praying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, but he always felt so fallen. But Lord Chaitanya would say, come here. Nityananda would say, come here.
Hare Krishna. Mukundaji, did you want to say something, Prabhu? Thank you, Bahushra.
Yes, thank you.
Raghunath Das Goswami was the only among the Goswamis not to be sent by Mahaprabhu to Vrindavan. So he was the beneficiary also of the Kadachan, which means the notebook of Swarup Damodar Goswami. Swarup Damodar Goswami gave Raghunath Das Goswami his whole notes on the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami stayed with Raghunath Goswami at Radhakund to write Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Actually, the whole history of Raghunath Das Goswami's leaving home and going to Puri is narrated in the Antya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And it's described there that, as Bahushra meant, was it 16 years or 18 years, he spent in Puri, in the Gambhira at the house of Kasi Misra, serving Swarup Damodar Goswami, who was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's most intimate associate, along with Ramananda Roy. So he again, Bahushra pointed out nicely, he's called the Prayojana Acharya. His writings are unique in his unwavering dedication and focus on Srimati Radharani. So let's read from his writing now. I think I kind of designed this part of our reading rather than doing so much discussion. Simply hearing from Raghunath Das Goswami and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami these verses and their topics will be very enlightening in itself. So let's read those.
Is that starting from text 167? This is
Yes.
Raghunath Das. Cheta, would you like to read? Cheta Mai?
Hare Krishna, everyone. Okay, text 167. Srimati Radharani takes her first bath in the shower of the nectar of compassion, and she takes her second bath in the nectar of youth. Purport. Srimati Radharani first smears her body with the paste of affection for Krishna. She then takes her bath in the water of mercy. After passing the Poganda age from 5 to 10 years, Srimati Radharani first appears as mercy. The second bath, taken at noon, is taken in the waters of Tarunyamrita, or the nectar of youth. This is the actual expression of her new youthfulness. 168. After her midday bath, Radharani takes another bath in the nectar of bodily luster, and she puts on the garment of shyness, which is her black silk sari. Text 169. Srimati Radharani's affection for Krishna is her upper garment, which is pinkish in color. She then covers her breasts with another garment composed of affection and anger towards Krishna. Text 170. Srimati Radharani's personal beauty is the reddish powder known as kumkum. Her affection for her associates is sandalwood pulp, and the sweetness of her smile is camphor. All these combined together are smeared over her body. And 171. Conjugal love for Krishna is an abundance of musk, and with that musk her whole body is decorated.
Hare Krishna. What a description. Hati, do you want to say something? And anyone want to speak about this?
Yeah, if somebody has something, some realization or something they want to share, raise your hand or let us know. Go ahead, Bahushara.
The actual wonderful description of Srimati Radharani's beauty is given in the Radha Krishna Ganadesh Deepaka, if one wants to read.
That's by Rupa Goswami?
Yes, by Rupa Goswami, yes.
Anyone else?
Describing her bodily, rather than metaphorical or allegorical like these. That's more of a description of her, the color of her hair, the color of her garments, the type of cosmetics she wears, etc. The way her hair is. Okay, beautiful.
This is really beautiful how the baths are described. Her midday bath, Radharani takes another bath in the nectar of bodily luster, and she puts on the garment of shyness. It's so beautiful, which is her black silk sari. Shyness is a quality that has been long forgotten in this day and age, I fear. It's such a beautiful quality. And actually, Krishna is also shy. That's one of his qualities. Bahushara?
Well, just one little thing is that we have to also remember that everything is personified in the spiritual world. So that means it isn't just water. It's water with personality, with quality that is very, very strongly manifest.
But it might not be necessarily that she's taking a bath in water. She's taking a bath in these qualities.
Well, she has to be sometime.
Well, okay, she's taking a bath, but I think that a lot of these qualities are, this is description of used to glorify her different qualities. I mean, the water is probably filled with all qualities too, but I don't know if that could be. Wait a second, Mukundaji.
The description,
Yeah.
the translation of the metaphors are in Ujjalani Mani. So if you go to Ujjalani Mani, the section on describing the Sakis and then Radharani, Rupa Goswami goes in some detail about the meaning of the various things that are.
In Ujjalani Mani, yeah.
Mukunda Prabhu, do you have any kind of facility to cut and paste that, or do you just have photographs of a book?
I don't. I have the book, and then I have.
Okay, but you don't have a digital format of it.
I had the original manuscript that came out from Bhanuswami, but it doesn't cut and paste properly.
You can't.
But you can go in if you have that book, and you can.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking to share it on the forum if you have it.
Oh, I see.
Very, very wonderful qualities. Cheta?
Hari Bol, I thought it was so interesting that Srimati Radharani covers her breasts with affection and anger. So it's not all sweetness. You have to have a little spice in there.
Left hand gopi.
Very nice. Hare Krishna. Okay. Shall we go on? Okay. Madonna, you there?
I'm here. I'll do a little bit. That's
Okay.
okay.
Why don't you read a little?
172. Craftiness and covered anger constitute the arrangement of her hair. The quality of anger due to jealousy is the silk garment covering her body. 73. Her attachment for Krishna is reddish color of the reddish color of betel nuts on her brilliant lips. Her double dealing in loving affairs constitute the black ornament around her eyes.
Ointment.
What did I say?
Ointment. It says black ointment, not ornament.
I'm sorry.
That cudgel.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought I said, yeah, I see how I missed.
Okay, no problem. Go on. With
174. The ornaments, okay, decorating her body are the blazing ecstasies of goodness and the constantly existing ecstasies headed by jubilation. All these ecstasies are ornaments all over her body.
Okay, go on if you want to continue.
Well, 175. Also ornamenting her body are the 20 kinds of ecstatic symptoms, beginning with, go ahead.
Kila Kinchita.
Her transcendental quality constitute the flower garland hanging in the fullness over her body.
Maybe somebody can read this, Sama, who has some
Okay,
better
okay. Karnath. Karnathji, you want to
Report.
read?
Jai. The 20 different moods headed by Kila Kinchita are described as follows. First, in connection with the body, there are bhava, ecstasy, hava, gestures, and hela, negligence. In relation to the self, there are shobha, beauty, kanti, luster, deepti, brilliance, madhurya, sweetness, pragalbhata, impudence, audarya, magnanimity, and dhairya, patience. And in relation to nature, there are lila, pastimes, vilasa, enjoyment, vichiti, breaking off, and vidprama, puzzlement. There are no English equivalents for the words kila kinchita, motaita, and kutamita. A flower garland constitutes the qualities of Srimati Radharani and is divided into mental, verbal, and bodily parts. Her attitude of forgiveness and mercy is all mental. Her talks, which are very pleasing to the ear, are verbal. The physical qualities, age, beauty, luster, and grace, are bodily qualities.
Wow. So we're going to have a. Could you bring it back, Pati, so we can just see that text for a second? Hare Krishna. Yeah, that last thing. Her attitude of forgiveness and mercy is all mental. Isn't that sweet? Wow. What does that mean, even? Anyone?
It's an attitude. You know, it's not speech, and it's not her body. So they're dividing her qualities into three categories: mental qualities, verbal qualities, and bodily qualities.
Yeah,
I'm appreciating it, how personal it is to understand someone so intimately that you can describe all these different features of them from bodily, mental, and emotional points of view.
Right. Mukunda?
Yeah, actually, Kila Kinchita Bhav, if you've seen the painting that was done by Jadharani, it's called Seva Kunj. There's a very popular painting called Seva Kunj. Many devotees have it, where Radhika's sitting on a asan with Krishna, and she's pulling her shawl across her face and holding her hand out like this. I think many devotees have seen it by now. It's a very popular painting. It's called Seva Kunj. That painting is the depiction of Kila Kinchit Bhav. Comes from a verse, Garva Vilas Rudita, Smita Suyabaya Krodam, Shankari Karanam Harshat, Uchite Kila Kinchitam. It's a description of 7 different kinds of moods that happen simultaneously in Radharani when she's in the presence of Krishna.
Amazing.
So that painting was a literal pictorial description of that mood called Kila Kinchit Bhav.
That's the way it can be translated.
Yeah, it's from a verse. It's from a verse in Udali Mani. And it's in Majulila, I think, 14 or something. The verse is quoted there also. It describes what those moods are.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Let's keep reading. Let me see. Gurnath, oh, you just read. Mahushra. Jitari, would you like to read again? I have to start again. It looks like everybody has read. Oh, Ranga doesn't want to read. Jitari, would you like to read?
Oh, this one, wrong page.
I don't know if he's there right now. Okay.
I'll read. The tilak of good fortune is on her beautiful broad forehead. Her various loving affairs are a gem, and her heart is the locket. Srimati Radharani's gopi friends are her mental activities, which are concentrated on the pastimes of Sri Krishna. She keeps her hand on the shoulder of a friend who represents youth. Purport. Radharani's 8 companions, the Astasakis, are different varieties of pleasure connected with the pastimes of Krishna. Following those pastimes of Sri Krishna are other activities, which are represented by the assistants of the gopis. It's interesting. It means that they personify a particular mood connected to a particular pastimes, and they all blend together in complete harmony. One of the things I'm learning as we read this and study it deeper is the necessity and arrangements of Yogamaya to fulfill Krishna's desire to have all these gopis, billions of them, in complete harmony with one another. It's so rare to be in harmony with someone else. But in the rasa dance, to fully blossom properly and fully, it requires that complete harmony amongst all of them, rather than the competition and the envy and the fighting. They're all finally, when it finally begins and goes and progresses, they're all on the same page, and we're getting there. That's what a lot of this pre-rasa dance lila is, to bring that about in everyone.
You know, of course, this is existing in the spiritual world. That's what relationship on a spiritual platform actually is. There is no animosity. There is only love and support, and everything is genuine. You know, only in the material world do we have to really battle with these egos and trips, and oh, it's ridiculous. You know, we waste so much time with this. But that's what the material nature is all about. That is the purpose of the material nature, is misery. That's its purpose.
All right, Bo.
Yes,
So
please.
also those Astasakis of Radhika, Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Chambakala, they represent literal states of her mind. There's 8 different things that Radhika has as a state of mind, like going on Abhisar, decorating her kunj, waiting for Krishna. So it's called Abhisarika, Vasaksaj, etc. They personify each one of those things. The main manjaris, like Rup Manjari, represents her form. Rati Manjari, Raghunath Das Goswami, represents her prem, Rati. Ladvanga Manjari represents her beauty, Sanatan Goswami. Like this, they literally personify qualities of Radhika.
Who is the source of everything anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Srimati Radharani is the source of all of this bhakti. She is Bhakti Devi, as far as I can understand, isn't it? I mean, she, just like Krishna is the Purusha, she is the Prakriti, the complete fullness of seva to Krishna. That's who Radharani is.
Does Rangavati want to read, Samat? Can
I
she?
think she's not feeling so well
Oh,
today.
okay.
I think she's just going to hear. But I don't know if you want to try Jitari again? Okay, I don't know if there. Okay, Mukunda, you want to read?
It's 178.
Yeah.
Yes.
Srimati Radharani's bedstead is pride itself, and it is situated in the abode of her bodily aroma. She is always seated there, thinking of Krishna's association. Srimati Radharani's earrings are the name, fame, and qualities of Lord Krishna. The glories of Lord Krishna's name, fame, and qualities are always, excuse me, inundating her speech. Srimati Radharani induces Krishna to drink the honey of the conjugal relationship. She is therefore engaged in satisfying all the lusty desires of Krishna. Srimati Radharani is a mind filled with valuable jewels of love for Krishna. Her transcendental body is complete with unparalleled spiritual qualities.
That's the end of the description from the Premamboja Marna.
Anyone else? Do you want to discuss something here? And
Well, it kind of changes moods here. I just wanted to bring that up, and it's good to have another
Oh,
reader
there's-
change those moods.
okay, but who sure wanted to say something?
Okay.
Just the name, the holy name, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra says it's in her earrings. The name.
That's so cool.
Just like when Arjuna, it's mentioned in Mahabharata, that at nighttime Krishna would sneak out and go somewhere, and Rukmini wanted to know where he was going. So then he'd go up to Arjuna, and then by him, she'd see him listening, and she goes, what are you listening to? He said, I'm listening to each hair is chanting Hare Krishna mantra.
Who
And
was
he would
that?
go
What
up-
was it?
Whose hair?
Arjuna's hair.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay,
so
where did you
Krishna
get
would
that?
come.
Where did you get this from?
Mahabharata, he says.
Mahabharata.
From the Mahabharata?
Yeah, the 12 volumes, not the
Oh,
short.
the 12. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. A real bhakta. Hare Krishna.
Ramananda Roy.
Ramananda Roy. Arjuna. Well, what a combination. All right. Mukund, do you want to read?
182, correct?
Yes.
If one asks about the origin of love of Krishna, the answer is that the origin is Srimati Radharani alone. Who is the most dear friend of Krishna? The answer again is Srimati Radharani alone. No one else. Srimati Radharani's hair is very curly. Her two eyes are always moving to and fro, and her breasts are firm. Since all transcendental qualities are manifested in Radharani, she alone is able to fulfill all the desires of Krishna and no one else. This is Govinda Lilamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Even Satyabhama, one of the queens of Sri Krishna, desires the fortunate position and excellent qualities of Srimati Radharani. All of the gopis learn the art of dressing from Srimati Radharani, and even the goddess of fortune Lakshmi, the wife of Lord Shiva, Parvati, desire her beauty and qualities. Indeed, Arundhati, the celebrated chaste wife of Vashishta, also wants to imitate the chastity of the religious principles of Srimati Radharani. Even Lord Krishna himself could not reach the limit of transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. How then can an insignificant living entity count them? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, now I have come to understand the truth of the loving affairs between Radha and Krishna. Nonetheless, I want to hear how both of them gloriously enjoy such love.
Wow. My goodness, it's getting deeper and deeper. Hare Krishna.
There's
Okay.
a bhajan of Bhaktivinoda Thakur called Ramani Shiromani. All these things are there kind of in a nutshell in that bhajan.
Bhaktivinoda. There was also a great description of, did we come to it yet? It's in the purport of the description that we read. Actually, maybe it's the same one. It's a complete analysis of all the different qualities of Srimati Radharani. It's very beautiful, Bhaktivinoda. Prabhupada really honored Bhaktivinoda. Oh, okay. Shall we continue with these notes, Patti?
Yes, there's another transformation of topic here. You have to, the more you capture them, the more you can understand how Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is weaving the tapestry of the pastimes. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, now I have come to understand the truth of the loving affairs between Radha and Krishna. In other words, he heard the descriptions of who Srimati Radharani is and who Krishna is. But he says, nonetheless, now I'd like to hear how both of them gloriously enjoy such love, which takes it to another level. I did look up Raghunath Das, and one of found a nice description of his particular books. All of them cover these themes, put these notes together, and then have Srila Prabhupada's quotes on the same topic. So these are main topics in all of Raghunath Das Goswami's books. That Radha's supremacy in love, her prema is the highest fragrance, Maranda, of the lotus of divine love. This is Premananda, Premanda Marandana. Her love is supreme. We just read that. When she leaves the rasa dance, even though Krishna is in the midst of millions and billions of gopis, he doesn't find pleasure because her love is supremacy.
And she is the pleasure potency.
Yes.
So she leaves, then what's the pleasure?
Krishna's complete dependence on her. He is controlled by her qualities, her moods, her compassion, and her playfulness. The devotee's aspiration. Raghunath prays not for Krishna directly, but for unwavering service to Radha. The Manjari ideal. The devotee approaches the divine couple only through serving Radha's feet. An exclusive dependence. All other desires and attainments are abandoned as insignificant. Srila Prabhupada's quotes on that same topic from different lectures. If you try to understand Krishna by speculative process, it will take many, many lives. But if you take shelter of Radharani, Krishna will be very easily obtainable, available. You want to have somebody else read, Sama? You're muted.
Hushraji, would you like to read?
Yeah, London, number 2, London, August 29th, 1971, Radhastami lecture. Quote, so our business is to pray to Radharani. My mother, Radharani, please be merciful to me. If you become merciful to me, naturally Krishna will be merciful because Krishna is controlled by you, unquote. Krishna is not independent. He is dependent on Radharani. So this is our prayer. If Radharani recommends this devotee is very nice, then Krishna immediately accepts. My number 3, Mayapur, November 22nd, 1974, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.1-3 lecture. Quote, if we actually want to offer worship to Krishna, then we must offer worship to Srimati Radharani. 4, London, July 31st, 1973, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verse 15 lecture. Quote, you have to approach Krishna through Radharani, and therefore we worship Radha Krishna, unquote. Number 5, Calcutta, September 18th, 1969, Radhastami lecture. Quote, Krishna is controlled by Radharani. Radharani is the most exalted devotee of Krishna, unquote. 6, Vrindavan, August 6, 1974, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.28 lecture. Radharani is the topmost devotee of Krishna. She always wants to satisfy Krishna.
Oh my God. Pati, did you look up all of these comparisons?
I looked up what Prabhupada said about that particular topic.
Oh my God. That's
I had
wonderful.
I had a question.
Sure.
Yes. Who's that, Chitari?
Yeah, it's me. I'm
Good.
here.
Nice to
Sure.
hear you. I didn't know I called him. Okay, go on.
I'm here in my
Good.
own way, but
Okay.
somebody told me, and I never really thought about it, but they said when you say Shri Krishna, that is actually just like saying Radha Krishna. Is that true, or Shri Krishna? Shri is Radharani. Is that true?
Shri is a name for Radharani. Shri.
Yeah. So when you say Shri Krishna, you're actually saying Radha Krishna.
I never heard that. I don't know about it.
I think it could be a properly etymological mood, but also you could say Sri Krishna in the sense that he's the owner of all opulences. Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So just like that, Yayatamam Prapadyante, Krishna's names as we chant them, reciprocate individually with the person's mood.
Yeah, actually,
is that what you're going to say, Mukunda?
And
Swami describes it in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He says the object of a Sthai Bhav is Sri Krishna Vishayini Rati. And he's mentioned Sri means Radharani. You cannot worship Krishna without Radharani. So Sri means Srimati Radharani. Also, it's in all the commentaries where it speaks about Sri, Shuku, Vacha, etc. Shri means Srimati Radharani. Suk means the parrot of Radharani. It's written in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, written in Bhagavat Laghu Voshani, Brihad Vaishnav Toshini, Sanatana Goswami, everywhere. So, yeah.
I have another question.
Go on.
You know, I was listening to a lecture from the first canto. I don't know exactly which verse, but it's described in there that Radharani was created by Krishna. You know, Prabhupada says that Krishna created, and I was thinking, oh, wait a minute. I mean, I know that we're all, you know, manifested by Krishna, you know, and then also all of Krishna's expansions, Balaram, and all this, you know, but I never really thought about Radharani being a creation.
I think if you go back to one of our earlier meetings, it's in the Zoom. We already covered this point. There's no creation of anyone from anyone.
Yeah.
It's all eternal, and we discussed how that wording is used.
Actually, in Jagadananda Pandit's book, Frame of Arta, when he talks about how Lord Chaitanya is a combination of Radha and Krishna also it says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that they divided Radha Krishna Nahiyana. They've divided 4 pastimes, but to try to see which has come first and which is the cause of the other is a useless thing. It's a useless thing. We're talking eternity here.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody's eternally manifesting in these different ways.
Because of time limits, I'm jumping ahead to the bottom part of the reading now.
Thank you.
Okay, Jatara, you want to read since you're there?
Sure, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, where's the bottom part?
191.
191.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "This is all right, but please continue."
Go on.
Text 192. Rai Rama then informed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that there was another topic known as Prema Vilas Vivarta. You may hear of this from me, Ramananda Roy said, but I do not know whether you will be happy with it or not. Wow. Purport. These statements are set forth for our understanding according to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya. In essence, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Ramananda Roy, my dear Ramananda, the explanation you have given about the goal of life and the pastimes of Srimati Radharani and Krishna is certainly the truth. Although this is factual, you can continue telling me more if there is anything more to say. In reply, Ramananda Roy said, I do not think I have anything to say beyond this, but there is a topic known as Prema Vilas Vivarta, which I may explain to you. I do not know whether it will bring you happiness or not. Text 193. Saying this, Ramananda Roy began to sing a song he had composed. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of ecstasy of love of Godhead, immediately covered Ramananda Roy's mouth with his own hand. Purport. The topics that are about to be discussed between Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy cannot be understood by a materialistic poet, nor by intelligence or material perception. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur states the spiritual mellow can be realized only when one is situated on the transcendental platform beyond the material stage of goodness. That platform is called Vishuddha Sattva. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. Realization of the Vishuddha Sattva is beyond the pale of the material world and is not perceived by bodily senses or mental speculation. Our identification with the gross body and the subtle mind is different from spiritual understanding. Since the intelligence and mind are material, the loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are beyond their perception. Sarvo padi vinirmuktam tat paratveda nirmalam. When we are free from all material designations and our senses are completely purified by the bhakti process, we can understand the sense activities of the absolute truth. Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevanam Bhaktir Uchite.
Thank you,
Okay.
Jatari. Is
Okay.
Faye
That
able
was,
to
that was
read?
a lot.
Faye, would you like to read? Finish this chapter thing. I don't know if she's
Hare
there.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The spiritual senses are beyond the material senses. A materialist can think only of the negation of material variety. He cannot understand spiritual variety. He thinks that spiritual variety simply contradicts material variety and is a negation or void. But such conceptions cannot even reach the precincts of spiritual realization. The wonderful activities of the gross body and subtle mind are always imperfect. They are below the degree of spiritual understanding and are ephemeral. The spiritual mellow is eternally wonderful and is described as Purna, Shuddha, Nitya Mukta, that is complete, perfectly pure, and eternally liberated from all material conceptions. When we are unable to fulfill our material desires, there is certainly sorrow and confusion. This may be described as vivarta. But in spiritual life, there is no sorrow, inebriety, or imperfection. Srila Ramananda Rai was expert in realizing the spiritual activities of Srimati Radharani and Krishna. And Ramananda's spiritual experience was placed before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he inquired whether the Lord approved his realization of spiritual truth.
Okay.
Uh,
Did you want to have a discussion there, Pati?
No,
You
we
wanna
don't have any
continue?
time for any more.
Okay, Chaitamayi, you want to
Actually,
finish
I'm
up?
just going to go ahead right to this.
Oh, okay.
Hare
Chaitanya.
Krishna. Let's see, you scroll it down a little bit because I
Yeah,
can't
okay.
see the top of it.
Sorry.
Here it is. Thank you. Text in 194. Alas, before we met, there was an initial attachment between us, brought about by an exchange of glances. In this way, attachment evolved. That attachment has gradually grown, and there is no limit to it. Now, that attachment has become a natural sequence between ourselves. It is not that it is due to Krishna, the enjoyer, nor is it due to me, for I am the enjoyed. It is not like that. This attachment was made possible by mutual meeting. This mutual exchange of attraction is known as Manobhav or Cupid. Wow. Krishna's mind and my mind have merged together. Now, during this time of separation, it is very difficult to explain these loving affairs. My dear friend, though Krishna might have forgotten all these things, you can understand and bring this message to him. But during our first meeting, there was no messenger between us, nor did I request anyone to see him. Indeed, Cupid's 5 arrows were our via media. Now, during this separation, that attraction has increased to another ecstatic state. My dear friend, please act as a messenger on my behalf, because if one is in love with a beautiful person, This is the consequence.
Corinath, you want to finish up?
O my lord, you live in the forest of Govardhan Hill, and like the king of the elephants, you are expert in the art of conjugal love. O master of the universe, your heart and Srimati Radharani's heart are just like shellac and are now melted in your spiritual perspiration. Therefore, one can no longer distinguish between you and Srimati Radharani. Now you have mixed your newly invoked affection, which is like vermilion, with your melted hearts, and for the benefit of the whole world, you have painted both your hearts red within this great palace of the universe. Purport. This verse quoted by Ramananda Roy is included in Srila Rupa Goswami's Ujjvala Nilamani, 14.155. Text 196. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed these verses recited by Sri Ramananda Roy, saying, "This is the limit of the goal of human life. Only by your mercy have I come to understand it conclusively. The goal of life cannot be achieved unless one practices the process. Now, being merciful upon me, please explain that means by which this goal can be attained."
Wow. So this is the goal of human life. My goodness. This love between Radha and Krishna, this whole thing that we've been reading is the goal of human life. What does that mean? Anyone? Can anyone say the goal of human life? This is it. We're all
Well,
waiting.
the highest pinnacle is Radha Krishna worship, but there's so many grades of worshiping from A to Z.
What about Lord Chaitanya?
Yeah, Lord Chaitanya. That's another. Well, he's presenting the highest aspect of love of Radha and Krishna. He's the manifestation of it in full view.
That's nice. He's the manifestation. Corinath.
People, conditioned souls, we have so many goals. Someone wants to make money or improve in the job or improve at school or become famous or whatever they're striving for. And they don't really know what they should strive for.
Good point.
People are stuck in the middle, just striving for something without even figuring out, what should we go for. But Lord Chaitanya is explaining to us that this is what we should really strive for. It's the highest good fortune. It's the only thing really worth having. It's the only thing that should be the driving force of our, of all our endeavors.
If you remember in the beginning of their conversation, that's exactly what he asked Ramananda Roy to do. Please speak about the goal of life and the means to attain it. And Ramananda Roy started off with the Varnashrama Vicharvata, the Varnashram system. Lord Chaitanya kept saying, this is external, this is external, this is external. Finally, he came to the point where it was spontaneous love, and he said, yes, this is accepted, but keep on going. And he went from Dasya to Sakya to Vatsalya to Madhurya Rasa. Then we read all about the Madhurya Rasa, even in this part that in the very beginning of our reading three meetings ago. And now it's come to this peak of his explanation. And Lord Chaitanya here is saying, now, this is the limit of the goal of life. Only by your mercy have I come to understand it conclusively. He finally came to the topmost point. Now, what I've done here, just to let everyone know, is he says, please explain. He says, the goal of light cannot be achieved unless one practices the process. Now, being merciful upon me, please explain the meaning by which this goal can be attained. And I've left that for future lessons, not the next one. Right now, we're at the end of Ramananda Roy and Lord Chaitanya's discussions about these particular loving exchanges. What I did was put this part about how we can enter into that and what is the process and practice to the end of the course.
Wow.
So we'll come back to this section at the end.
Okay, let's get some Mukunda wanted to say, and then Madan, and then Bahutra. Mukundaji.
Yeah, actually, this is really, really special because after describing up to the height of Radha and Krishna individually, he describes their love, but now he's describing the pinnacle of that love, which is called Prem Vilas Vivart. The word Vivart means when love reaches such a high limit, it reverses or inverts the roles of the lover and beloved. So why Mahaprabhu covered the mouth of Ramananda Roy is because he revealed right then and there the secret for Mahaprabhu's appearance. That though Krishna is the object of love, he became so absorbed in the beauty of the love of Radhika, he's taking her role. That is called Prem Vilas.
Oh, how
Vilas.
sweet. That is so sweet.
That's
Thank
explained
you.
in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Read this, Mukunda, and put it in context.
Oh, Master of the Universe, your heart and Srimati Radharani's heart are just like Salak and are now melted in the spiritual perspiration. Therefore, no one can distinguish between you and Srimati Radharani. Now you've mixed your newly invoked affection, which is like vermilion, and you've melted your melted hearts for the benefit of the whole world and painted both the hearts with red lac, actually it is, in the great palace of the universe. I was going to put that verse. I have it. I just got it out of my notes. I was going to put it in the forum.
Yeah.
It's actually a verse from Udalimani, and it's describing actually not only prem, but it's describing the progression of prem from prem to sneha to man. So it's a poetry describing the progression of prem up to Madanakya Mahabhav.
And just like you were saying, the heart, their hearts are so in tuned and entwined with one another that that love has become to the point where it's vivarta. One's taking the role of the other and mixing it like shellac. And then he's
that's
saying,
heavy.
painting the
So-
whole universe with their
Because
fragrance.
they're one person. Because they're one.
Yes.
They're one person. They're one person. It's complete harmony. It's complete. Oh, I just got the vision. They're one person, and then Lord Chaitanya. Then Lord Chaitanya is the manifestation of that one person. This is so. Boy, this knowledge is like. Here we are down here, but it's all beautiful.
Yeah, I'll
Thank
put
you.
the verse in the forum.
Okay, Madan had something, and then Bahusha. Sorry.
Mine was
Madan,
just real quick that Lord Chaitanya says, Prema Pumarta Mahan, when he was asked about the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and he said the fifth goal of life is this Prema. So that was the beginning, and now we're filling it in with the mercy of the Acharyas here. Thank you.
that's a weekend. Yeah, it just keeps
Because
going
we've all
deeper.
heard that before, Prema Pumarta Mahan. The goal of life for the human is to have prema.
Right. It's perfect. Thank you. Bahusha?
Prabhupada mentioned that people say that they know Krishna. You might know something about Krishna, but you don't know the science of Krishna. This is the science.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, in the beginning
Interesting.
lecture, do you remember the lecture I put on in the very beginning about Chaitanya Prabhupada talking about the mercy of Lord Chaitanya as spoken through Rupa Goswami? And at the end of that lecture, it's exactly what he said. This is not sentiment. This is science. There's
It's
actually
amazing.
a science to it.
It's a science, but it's not a dull science. It's not, because the more scientific you become, the more ecstatic you become. If you understand it scientifically, it becomes spiritual. It's a spiritual science. That's what it is. It's a spiritual science. And weren't you? I'm
He
sorry.
would use the word dry, and
Right,
this
right.
is juicy, rasa.
That's it. That's it. Rasa. It's juicy. And we were talking about the poetry. Remember, you were discussing something about the poetry that has been used to describe all of this. And the thing that makes it wonderful, it's a spiritual discussion. It would be just beautiful poetry if it wasn't spiritual. That's what gives us its essence. Do you remember that? We were discussing that, Pati.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yavali.
Is that this is the greatest contribution of Srila Rupa Goswami. How to become a devotee. How to become a devotee. It is not sentiment. It is science. This Krishna consciousness movement is a great science. So thank you for that, Bahusha, pointing it out. Perfect.
It's beautiful.
Nice being with so many scientists.
This is great science. God, am I the only one going through a lot of different emotional things here? Just every time it's just exploding everywhere. What a nice, wonderful group of devotees. Thank you so much for participating in this.
And it never ends.
Yeah, it never is
See you in
eternal.
Goloka.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Okay.
Dai.
Okay.
Vancha
Happy
kalpa
Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes.
Vancha kalpa
Patridascha,
tarubhascha, kripa sindhyavacha,
Patitanam
patitanam
pavanebhyo,
pavanebhyo,
Vaishnavebhyo
vaishnavebhyo.
namo namaha.
And we really have that which to be thankful for. We are blessed. We are very blessed. Thank you so much.